It's going to be Seattle and Denver. It's going to be a rematch. And as long as Denver stay healthy on the defensive side of the ball, as I know Seattle has lost some pieces to Jacksonville and everything like that, but they still look pretty dominant.
It didn't seem to affect
Percy Harvin is looking pretty great.
There's your key.
Listen, Denver was rattled, man, when they played. We all can, any football fan can watch that. When you saw the first snap and you look at their eyes, man, like they got scared. I hate to say it. They got scared.
Well, they admitted it. They said they were scared of Seattle.
They got scared.
And you'll be able to tell by that game.
So now, the fact that we got Aqib Talib, probably one of the best corners in the game.
John?
I wouldn't argue.
I said I wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't? Okay.
I wouldn't argue.
T.J. Ward, we had some safety issues there. Champ Bailey was getting burned all over the field. That's my boy. I love Champ. He just got older, man.
Champ Bailey was also 147.
Yes, he was. And I'm sad right now. He's unemployed.
No, he ain't. He got picked up.
Did he get picked up?
I think he's getting picked up by.
Yeah, I know he got released by the Saints, but
somebody picking him up for old people prison.
That's good. That's good. I think Denver will go ahead. This will be a great game. This will be part 2 where this was supposed to be how it was supposed to be played. The best offense versus the best defense. Yes, Denver will have the best offense again this year. I will predict that they will have the best offense again. I don't know if Peyton Manning will throw that many touchdowns, but they would be definitely up there and probably be the best offense, along with a competent defense. Von Miller being there and being healthy. Von Miller is a beast on the field. There was some graph that they showed his numbers on the field being on defense where the quarterback pass completion goes down at least about 15-20%. Von Miller means a lot to our defense. That's why he's my favorite player. I'm still, now that Champ Bailey is gone, I got to transition and get his jersey. I love Von Miller, even though he got to stop doing stuff and taking enhancement drug and stay out of trouble. But Von Miller is Kevin's laughing.
He was with Wes Welker taking Molly.
Doing something. So we got Pot Roast, a.k.a. Terrence Knight.
Oh, shut up.
So that boy has always been in the middle. He stayed healthy. We got
He
Derek
hasn't
Wolf.
always been in the middle. He was there just last year.
Yeah.
Because we let you have him.
I appreciate it because he did some work.
That's a fat name.
He did some work. So
that's a big, huge deal.
He is a big work. So I believe this defense, as long as we stay healthy, Chris Harris Jr. don't have to move. He can be now a number 2 cornerback now. He don't have to be number 1. He can move number 2 and guard the second best receiver.
Number 2.
Denver will win the Super Bowl 38-31. Rematch. Peyton can walk away, retire if he wants to, and then we move on to the Brock Osweiler year. We go back to being 7-9. Boom! Welcome to the Balls Not Court podcast. Cortez Paws here. Got Kevin Carter to my right-hand side.
Hello.
And I got Mr. Z.Stone over Skype. Sir, how's it going, Mr. Zach?
It's going well. Thank you for having me on.
First time on.
Yeah, first time on. Welcome. So, how's the weather where you at, sir? Is it rainy like it is over here in Jacksonville?
It's dark out.
It's dark out.
It's I think it's raining. I don't know.
I think it's He's like, I ain't been outside in 4 days.
I haven't been outside.
I'm telling you, man, the grievance going on between us two right now. But
that y'all been in hibernation.
Yeah, we'll cover that when coming up shortly. But we're gonna talk about the Ohio State and Oregon game.
Do we have to?
Win the national champion. The Ohio State Buckeyes win the national championship. And I want to get your thoughts on the game, and let's go with our guests. What do you think about the game that night, Zach?
I mean, I was really, really rooting for Oregon. and
we all were.
It didn't go my way, and I was really hoping that they would reel back in when it got really close to 21-20. But it just seemed that Ohio State had Oregon's offense exactly down, to a patent pretty much when they were on defense. So it was pretty much a drubbing if it didn't have those 4 turnovers. But
your thoughts, Kevin?
Once Oregon just started losing receivers like they were candy. They were just dropping like flies. And I was like, oh, Oregon's screwed now because all their top receivers are gone. One got suspended, one got hurt, another one got hurt, another one got hurt. I think his mom got hurt in the play too. Then another one's dad ended up getting hurt during the game. I don't know what was going on with all those injuries. I just was wondering why no one has went back and watched old Florida Gator footage. Because it was the same exact stuff that they ran at Florida, and it looked exactly the same. Quarterback fakes his head, comes back, throws a deep ball. Quarterback runs. Quarterback throws the ball out to the outside, that guy runs. Quarterback fakes the little end around and gives it to the running back. It was the same damn 6 plays in a row. And they ran them over and over again, and nobody can stop it. I'm like, please, just watch the Florida tape, and you can tell by the way they're lining up what they're going to do. But I guess nobody thought that far.
I don't know. I pretty much saw Elliott just run anything he wanted to do. He just owned Oregon's defense.
He was a beast. He was retarded. It was like Elliott took this because really Florida never had that running back that they always handed the ball to with Tebow. It was always Harvin getting the ball or Tebow running. They have that running back in Elliott. He was just a monster. And then you got freaking Jones, who looks like a damn offensive lineman playing quarterback. It's just a big, gigantic hunk of a man back there.
He knocked down that 300-pound linebacker.
When that linebacker fell back into coverage, and it was a lineman. The lineman came off the line and fell into coverage, and he ran him over. Cortez goes, look at him run over that linebacker. I said, no. I said, that was a fat defensive lineman he ran over. And he ran him over like he wasn't even nothing. He was like, hey, how you doing?
All right.
It was ridiculous, and I'm amazing at the drum. And props to Urban for coaching his tail off.
What I saw from the spurts I saw, because I was watching a little bit of basketball game, I did come out. A little
bit of the basketball.
I did come out and watch this, but we had a podcast on the weekend. We made our picks, and Mr. Carter and Mr. Orr did pick Oregon.
And you picked it perfect.
And I picked Ohio State.
You even told us why, and it ended up happening.
And I just said
you were first time for everything.
I said they was going to run the ball, and that's what they did. I'm talking about Cardell Jones. You got Ezekiel Elliott, who's I don't know how that's a big boy.
He was just making up for his pick of Denver.
But it was very impressive, and for them to get 296 rushing yards on the ground, and I already was thinking that Oregon's defense was a little suspect, but goodness gracious, man.
Their middle is definitely suspect.
Yeah.
The reason they were able to do what they did to FSU, well, of course they created turnovers, but they were coming off the edge and getting to Winston and causing him to have to move and everything. They couldn't do that with these guys, with Ohio State, because Ohio State wasn't worried about throwing the ball. They knew they could run it right down their throat, which is what they did. Florida State did it early in the game, but then Florida State went away from it because they got behind after the fumbles. So I was impressed. They added like a SEC element to Ohio State.
One other big stat that was the difference between the Florida State game and the Ohio State game for Oregon is Oregon was able to make up all those points off of turnovers.
Yep.
They had 35 points off of turnovers against Florida State. So that's the big difference between the two, I think.
Yeah, because
it was identical, to be honest with you. Every time Florida State had the ball, they just went down the field, mm-hmm. Unless they were fumbling the ball or throwing an interception. So
yeah, because I think Oregon was in the red zone like 4 or 5 times and got 1 touchdown and 2 field goals.
Yeah.
And that was all they could manage in the red zone against Ohio State. Their other touchdown was that big long one. And that's when I thought they were going to start reeling them in right there. I was like, oh, ball game now. And then Ohio State just put their wheel on them again and just ran it right down their throat and scored a touchdown on the thing right after.
All right.
It was I was impressed.
Well, y'all thoughts on
They
Marcus
still suck. But
Mariota? Does his draft stock, where does it drop now because of this game, or how far do you?
No, he had a good game. He had, actually, by his standards, it was one of his normal games, but I never thought of him as that high. I never thought of him as people arguing 1 or 2. I never really had him that high. Last year, if he would have came out, he would have been right up there with your Bortles and everybody else, and he would have been one of those guys that Bortles came out of nowhere last year. Mm-hmm. But I think he would have been up there this time. But now you've got a real weak class, and I think that's kind of why they're putting him up so high. Because really his talents running the ball and everything like that, really, do you see him being a Russell Wilson type guy in the league who's smaller in stature but loves to run? He's got speed and everything, but to me, he comes off as that system guy. And like I've told you before, if Philly wanted him and they put him in the Philly system, I would expect him to do good things. But if he came to, if he went to Tampa Bay or Tennessee, I wouldn't see him doing quite as well. I think he'll be a serviceable quarterback, but I don't think he'll be a great NFL quarterback.
Well, speaking on the topic, to be honest, his stock didn't really change for me. His big play is still very suspect. He didn't have any big plays in that championship game. I mean, really, he had 2 or 3 very, very important drops by his wide receivers in the championship game, and he finished the game with 13 incompletions. I mean, That's still very, very, very good. But the one thing I didn't see out of Oregon, and especially from him, and that's something that I like an attribute in a quarterback, is him being fired up. When his team was down, he's a leader, but he's just doesn't have that fired up ability like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and whatnot. So that's just the 2 key points
he's got a kind of a calmer demeanor about him. He's got one of those things to where you don't see him being a rah-rah guy. But he'll for him to succeed, he'd have to be on a team that already has those rah-rah guys to where he could take a back seat and kind of not have to be that rah-rah dude. But I think, that, just like Zach said, I think he stays on the same field as me as what he was going to be doing.
Okay, so
because my big thing is, can he read a defense? Because in that system, you do not have to read the defense. It's get the ball out to him or him. And if neither one of them are open, run like hell. And that's his offense. So I just want to see if he can read defense. I got Winston way above him in that idea.
Okay. Cardell Jones had put a Twitter thing saying big decision coming at 3.
Oh, shut up. And you were 3 games into your stupid college career. Take your butt back to college and go and throw the football some more.
And which he did.
That's what he did.
Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah.
Stupid. He said, "I'm going schooling." What
so,
an idiot.
So I guess I want to ask you two is,
I'm going back to schooling.
I mean, Cardell Jones coming back to this team that's already seemed like it's going to keep alive this.
Well, they're young. They're
team
young.
Intact. So I mean, the question is, there now. I mean, because everybody was like, "Oh, why his stock is high? He should go to the draft." But I think it's pretty ludicrous to go off 3 games and try to go to the draft. And
well, I wouldn't have blamed him if he would have done it.
Yeah.
Because at no point in time is his stock going to be as high as it is right now. No point in time is it going to be his name recognition going to be up there that it is right now.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Unless he does everything again. But at no point in time is everybody talking about him. Is what I'm kind of saying. Right now, everybody was Cardell Joe. Look how good he is. Look how big he is. So right now, his name was on the tip of everybody's tongue. Mm-hmm. So that would have been that time to shoot out. But I think he did the real smart thing in going back to school. But I wouldn't have blamed him if he would have went pro.
Your thoughts on that, Zach?
$600,000 payday?
See, I'd be on the same train with Kevin right now, but had he not thrown out that tweet about 2 or 3 years ago about playing school,
playing school.
He wants to go back, him saying that he wants to go back and complete his degree, it's kind of laughable right now, but I mean, I guess he was a little bit younger when he made that tweet.
Did you see that tweet?
I did.
It said, "We ain't going to play in school, we playing football."
I actually responded to him, and this is before this is when he was still backing up JT. Earlier in the year, I tweeted at him, and this is maybe when they were playing Michigan State, and I just tweeted at him, I was like, And in this day in history, we'll all remember the Ohio, the best tweet in